And when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing, sexual healing. The eighth house is the house of intimacy and transformation, and it represents sex. Now, I look at this as committed sex because the fifth house is like casual sex. It also represents death and other people's money, and it follows the seventh house, which is the house of relationships. And so in this video, we're going to go in depth into the eighth house in the birth chart. And so if you are new to me and to the channel or to any of my content on social media land, my name is Kay Catrice. I am the Natal Chart Navigator, and I am an intuitive energy reader and educator. And I help open minded women to understand who they are energetically so that they can live their best lives by and attract to them the life that they desire by using the energies that they were born with. All right, and so the eighth house in the birth chart is ruled by the natural sign on that house is Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio is a water sign. It's a very deep um, energy. It's probably the deepest feeling energy in the zodiac. And it is ruled by the planet Pluto. That is the modern ruler. And then the traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars. Okay. And so the eighth house in astrology. The eighth house rules sex, death, taboos, traumas, and fears. It also governs the intimate agreements around money and possessions. And so this is where we cultivate intimacy with others. And so the second house, which is the natural house of Taurus, that is our personal finances. Okay. This is other people's finances. Okay. And so this would be like you and your husband or wife's um, finances, any business finances, and things of that sort. Also, the monies that come from like negotiations or partnerships, contracts, insurance. And so by this in this house, this is where we cultivate our intimacy with others. Okay. So by exposing ourselves in this way, we are forced to confront our shadows and the things that make us vulnerable. This undertaking inspires a process of transformation towards our true selves. Okay. And so the sign that's in the eighth house of your birth chart, along with any planets that occupy it, if you have any, can reveal a lot about your deepest relationships and your roadblocks to intimacy. And any planets that transit here will activate these areas of your life and reveal opportunities for transformation. Okay. And so some key themes of the eighth house is intimacy, sex, secrets and fears, and that's committed sex, death, regeneration, shared money, and possessions. And when it comes to the shared money and possessions, um, if you get a divorce, right? So that's a contract that you're entering into, okay? So depending upon the sign and the planets, can give you clues as to like if you're going through a divorce and you have to divide assets, and it's nasty, like you're having like just it's just nasty. Look into this house can give you clues as to why things are happening the way that they are. Okay. And so the eighth house is a place of depth. Okay. So I told you that it is the natural house of Scorpio. Scorpio is a very, very deep transformational energy. Okay. And so this is a house of deep bonding, deep sharing, and deep transformation. Okay. And this is where we go beneath the surface of the relationships that are developed in the seventh house, which is the house of partnerships, and cultivate a more profound intimacy with others. In order to do this, we must establish intimacy with ourselves. And so the eighth house demands that we dig down deep to reveal the parts of us inside of us that we're too scared to share with others. Okay. And so this is the territory of the subconscious. It's one of the subconscious houses. The other is the 12th house. And so your fears, your traumas, your secrets, and all your taboos live here. And so once you fully face your shadows, you can reemerge lighter. Okay, you reemerge as a different person because this house is all about transformation. It doesn't matter what sign is on the house. The sign is on the house is just how the transformation is going to be expressed. Okay. And so the eighth house rules death and rebirth, and it describes your ability to transform by conquering the darkest parts of yourself. Now, on the other side, you are regenerated, free from the weight of anything that's not true to who you truly are. And although this can be a very painful process, the rewards are undeniable. This is the house where you find your power. Okay? And so sharing is a key component of intimacy. Okay? When you are in a partnership, especially a marriage partnership, um, you know, the Bible speaks of two becoming one. Okay? And so that's not saying that you lose who you are or you lose your identity from the first house. It's saying that you you bring your identity into the eighth house, and it's like a merging. So it's like you guys merge together in order to become one united force. Okay, it's not this my money, that's your money. And I'm not saying that you got to put all your money in. You know, it's okay to have, an account, a separate account that's yours, and then you have an account with your spouse. That's okay. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know, I've seen and I know couples who they're together, but they share nothing. Everything is separate. So it's almost like it's like they've created no real deep intimacy with each other. It's just we're together, but I don't know if I trust you enough to like be open enough to share my money with you. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that like what the hell y'all married for? Like, because for me and most people, well, I shouldn't say most people. I say, you know, the majority of people. A lot of people feel like, marriage is, that's your person. That's the one person who you can be open and honest with, that you can share things with, and not, and feel that safety and security of not being judged. And so if you don't feel like you have that in your partnership or in your marriage, then there's some work that needs to be done, not just on your end, but on their end as well. Okay. And so sharing is a key component of intimacy. And the eighth house is where you can find support in sharing your secrets and fears. Okay. Um, and this does include the sharing of money and possessions. Loans, inheritances, and co ownership are all governed by this area in your birth chart. Now, it takes a lot of trust to enter into these types of agreements. And if a contract or partnership is not built on equal grounds, power imbalances can emerge here. Okay. Thus, manipulation and abuse are shadow qualities that do live here. Okay. Scorpio energy can be a very manipulative energy. Okay. And it doesn't matter what sign is on this house, it does have those tinge, those flares, that little bit of feel of Scorpio. Okay. And so you want to really look at those qualities. You want to really do a deep dive of the eighth house. And I would recommend you do this before you get married. Look at the eighth house and really figure out how your eighth house is set up and how it those the attributes of this house will be expressed based upon the sign. Okay. This is something that you want to do before you get into this marriage partnership. Okay. This contract, because marriage is a contract. It is a contract. And so the eighth house is about releasing the grips of the past so that you may step freely into the future. And so your bond is not going to be as strong or as beautiful as you would like it to be if you have not worked on your shadow self. Okay. Some people don't realize they don't come into their shadow selves until they get into a partnership. And that may be a theme for you. Okay. Just depending upon if you have placements here and what placements are there. Okay. And so if you're willing to face the discomfort that most people try to avoid, so hard to avoid, you will emerge happier, healthier, and more whole on the other side. Okay. And so speaking about the planets, any planets that you have in the eighth house, you're going to have to dig a little deeper to understand them, okay? And so in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of that. But in a later video, when we're talking about, um, you know, planets and their, you know, in the eighth house, where they would be in the eighth, depending upon the house, how they are expressed, we'll go more in depth, okay? And so if you have the sun here, you are not a shallow person, and your magnetic presence is often felt by others, although you may be a little hard to read at times. Okay. And in the sign that's on the house, like I know somebody, they have Capricorn on the eighth house and their sun is here. And they are pretty hard to read. Um, you never sometimes I'll be like, so is she pissed off? Is you happy? Like, what's going on? You know, they are truly like the definition of like poker face. And so if you have your moon he in the eighth house, you may have been accused of being too sensitive. Because remember, this is the natural house of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water energy, which is emotional, very emotional. And it's just that you feel your emotions very, very intensely, but you don't obsess over them. Well, don't obsess over them because you may, okay? Don't obsess over your emotions. Intimacy with yourself and others is needed to feel secure and fulfilled. Now, if you have Mercury here, you're just not somebody who um, likes small talk. You don't want to do small talk. You have a perceptive mind and a strong curiosity to understand the deeper motivations of others. And so this makes your words powerful and persuasive. If you have Venus here, your desire for depth and intimacy means you're probably not a casual dater, but you try not to create, but okay, let me rephrase that. You're not a casual dater, but try not to create drama just to feel the heat of passion. Fears of betrayal can make you possessive and jealous. Okay, so that's something you definitely want to work on. Um, because Venus being in Scorpio, it is in fall, meaning that it doesn't operate. Uh, is it fall? No, it's in detriment. Is in detriment in the sign of Scorpio. So it doesn't operate optimally. Okay. Um, Venus is not about possession, and Scorpio energy is about possession. Um, and so that's not going to work. So it struggles to operate. It just doesn't operate properly. So you want to be very careful of, that you're not becoming obsessed. When you see people and they are like just so obsessed with somebody and they be stalking them and doing all that crazy shit, um, they may have their Venus in Scorpio or in the eighth house. Okay. And so when you have Mars in the eighth house, when you are passionate about something, your drive can get you to the top. You also have a powerful sex drive and a strong interest in anything that is taboo. And when you have your Jupiter here, When there is a problem to be solved, you are the one that people call on. You have powerful intuition and keen perception. And so this makes you a great researcher or attorney or detective. Okay. Now, when you have Saturn here, you may not do so well with change. Saturn isn't like one to be quick on changes. It's all about discipline. But don't make letting go of things harder than it has to be. Resistance only makes growth more uncomfortable. So learn to be okay with letting things go. And just try to be of the mindset that what I let go is going to bring me something even greater. Now, if you have Uranus here, your comfort um, with changing things up and exposing the truth may make others a little uneasy at times, but that's not going to stop you. You'll keep doing it. Just because it's Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of shock and rebellion and all of the things. And so it's just like you're gonna do it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that." You're gonna be like, "Yeah, but you needed me to do it, so whatever." Now you have Neptune here. There's an intuitive nature about you, perhaps even to the point of being psychic. But this can also distort who you trust in intimate relationships, especially around shared property or finances. Okay. If you have Pluto here, your soul has patterns of depending upon external resources for power, whether it be relationships or resources. And so you're being asked to eliminate these limitations and find that power within yourself. Now, if you have Chiron here, okay, loss, abuse, or manipulation in the early home environment may make it difficult for you to get close or to trust others, especially when it comes to your shared resources or deep intimacy. If you have your North Node here, then it is time for you to get out of your comfort zone, eliminate your attachments to what you know, and cultivate deeper intimacy with yourself and others. And if your South Node is here, depending upon others for money and security limits your sense of self-worth. And so you're being called to put down your old stories of powerlessness and become more self-reliant. And so any transits of the eighth house. When a planet transits your eighth house, it exposes your vulnerabilities. Okay, and this is the universe's way of illuminating how you can heal and transform into your best self. Still, what transpires will depend on the planet that's transiting and the ways that it's interacting with the rest of your birth chart and what's going on. Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces come March of 2022, as well as Pluto moving into Aquarius. So that's going to be my seventh and eighth houses. And so I'm really kind of, I have Pisces on my eighth house. And so I'm really interested to see what's going to, come about those transits. Um, and so, for example, if you have Venus transiting your eighth house, issues concerning romantic intimacy could come up to the forefront, or you might enter into a shared financial arrangement with somebody. If it's Mars, sexual intimacy might be on the table, potentially bringing up shame or vulnerability. When the moon transits your eighth house each month, your emotions may intensify and you might feel like keeping to yourself for a few days. Knowing when the planets are transiting your eighth house allows you to brace yourself while remaining open to these powerful moments of change. Okay. Eighth house is very demanding, but it's also very powerful, and it sets us up for the ninth house, okay, which is the house of beliefs um, and higher education. Ninth house, that's the natural house of Sagittarius. Um, and so Yeah, we are getting there in this series. And so I hope you found value in this video. If you did and it resonated, you can like it. Also, you can subscribe so that you get notifications when I upload the next video in the series or go live. And also, if you would like to work with me, you can, I have all the information in this description box. You can work with me. And if you gotten a chart reading before and you're like, I still have questions, or I didn't get a chance to ask questions about my reading, you can definitely book a chart consult. I will go over your chart and answer so that I can answer any questions that you may have. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, possibilities are endless. If you can see it in your mind, then you definitely can hold it in your hand. And that should make you smile because you really do create your own reality. Have a good one.